Hey folks, Amanda here. Just a quick heads up that from time to time, the Survivor's Guide to Thriving podcast does include some adult language. So if you've got kids with you, you may just want to hold on to this episode to listen to a little later. Enjoy! Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Survivor's Guide to Thriving podcast. I'm Amanda Solman, and along with Mark Jewell, your host for this show and the creator of the Surviving to Thriving movement. Each week, we'll dive into the mindsets that keep us in survival mode and learn how to get on the path to a truly thriving life. If you're looking for a wake-up call and want some valuable tools to get there, you have come to the right place. After all, survival is dead. It's your time to thrive today. Now, let's head over to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another one of our quick training episodes here. Today I want to talk about the 6 basic human needs. Okay? Now, a lot of you are familiar with like Maslow's hierarchy, the triangle of basic human needs, food, water, shelter, all the way up to fulfillment and things like that. But today I want to talk about a little bit different angle on the basic human needs, and this is actually based off the work of Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins, who's one of the gurus of the day in the personal development world. The 6 basic human needs are really those things at the core, like when we have these basic needs met, this is what enables us to feel a greater degree of happiness in life, engagement at work, engagement in life, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the big things that I ask companies to look for in their employees. Are these needs being met with your people? I ask my coaching clients to look at them and say, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? How are these being met for you currently? Are you creating this for yourself, so to speak? And so the 6 basic human needs, I'm going to run through them and kind of talk about why they work and why they're so necessary. Really anxious to kind of see in the comments, your texts and emails and snaps and things like that, how is this showing up for you? Are you scale of 1 to 10? How much of each of one of these needs are you experiencing currently in your life? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, with the first one, before I read it on the page, what I want you to think about is like if you were starting a new job, like let's just say you went to a new company today or this week, and what day of the week would you likely start that new job on? And most people would say Monday. I've asked this question to audiences all over the country and talked to even HR practitioners and said, hey, if you're starting new people out on Monday, what day of the week do they usually start? And inevitably they say Monday, right? Or if you're starting out a new employee, what day of the week do they usually start? They start them out on Monday, right? HR people, CEOs, bosses across the world, we start them on Monday. Why? Because that fits in with our books, it fits in with our system for bringing new people into our computer system, makes it that the flow is easy, the paperwork all goes exactly how it's supposed to go. We've got it down, right? The problem is that system that is built to make 1 or 2 people's or a department's life easy doesn't necessarily work for base level employees, everybody, even all the way up through executives, and it doesn't necessarily fit. Here's why. What we're finding is some pretty interesting research about what happens in the early time that I'm with a company, right? When you think about the first half a day or day at a new company, I mean, typically what it looks like is I come in, I'm going to report to human resources or whoever is processing my paperwork. I write void on a check, right? And I fill out my insurance stuff and I fill out whatever it is. I sign my non-competes, maybe I watch some videos on safety, some sexual harassment stuff, some how to back my truck into the parking stall, like basic stuff like that, right? But I just want to ask you, as you or somebody that you work with is going through that process, to what level is that person feeling connected, right? See, the first basic human need is that of connection. Connection is one of the most basic human things that any of us need. That when we feel connected, we feel loved, we feel trust, we feel bonded with the group, the company, the people, the family, the significant others. But we need connection in our life. And when work or school or whatever becomes a place where I am devoid of connection, and connections are hard to come by, and trust and love and abundance and those kind of things in that space are hard to get or seem hard to get, I immediately start to associate with that place a lack of connection, a barrier, a boundary. Okay, so connection is huge, and when I feel connection, what's literally going on is the body is releasing oxytocin into my system. Like, it's literally producing a biochemical that's helping me feel and experience love, trust, connection. Those kind of things are what I'm feeling in the body. It's no different than when I shake a handshake or do a handshake with a new person. If I shake your hand, right, we immediately feel a bond of trust. Yet if I refuse to shake your hand, right, then I'm a jerk. Okay, so what's the difference? Okay, well, if I don't shake your hand, I'm now the source of somebody who robbed you of that little dose of oxytocin that allowed you to feel love, trust, and connection. Right? Yeah, when we do shake hands, it feels natural. That's how we've exchanged the human bond of connection. Same with hugging. In fact, side note, an 8-second hug is the optimal amount of time to release the optimal amount of chemical of oxytocin into your body to help you feel a deep level of connection with someone. So connection is huge. Most workplaces are not giving this. Get this. People are making a subconscious decision, we're finding, within the first 2 to 4 hours that they work for a new place. Within the first 2 to 4 hours that I'm with a new group, I have made my decision, or at least a subconscious decision, about the longevity that I'm going to have with a new group, company, organization, class, whatever. So this idea about connection and creating connection in your life is imperative. And so if you're creating this for yourself or creating this for others, this is a must. So where are you at? Just take some notes wherever you're at. Scale of 1 to 10, or make a mental note. Where are you at? Scale of 1 to 10, generally speaking, how much connection are you experiencing in your life? Okay, here's one more. Let's go to the next level. Okay. This is what we call certainty. Now, certainty is very much like the Maslow's hierarchy of basic human needs. And what you'll find when you're thinking about certainty is these are things like, I need to know that I've got food, water, shelter, the basics, right? But that I also have a job that is safe and that I can come to, and I'm not worried about my department constantly getting cut. I'm not worried about my job constantly going away. That's something that helps to create certainty. So I either need to add value to my workplace or find a way to prove the value of my job and continuously being able to do that. Certainty comes from not being bullied, right? Not knowing that somebody's not out to get you in the workplace, right? Which means proactively working on relationships and being a relationship developer within the workplace or school or wherever it is that you go each and every day. So having certainty comes from basic survival needs met, okay? Basically knowing that your job is safe, that you're safe in your relationships, outside of work, and then even at work, knowing that I'm going to be safe. I've got a team that I belong to. Okay, so that's one way to create certainty. Now, in as much as we have to have certainty, we also need variety. Okay. And variety is really important. You know, when you think about variety, like, we all like to try new things. Some of us a lot of new things, and some of us a few new things, and some of us really resistant to change, and some of us love lots of different stuff. And so this is a little bit different for each and every one of us. But variety induces a little bit of an endorphin rush every time. It's like it gets you something new, and that's also kind of an addicting little chemical that the body produces to help you want to experience that. And so when that comes up for us, we get to experience a little bit of something, you know, kind of on the edge. It's a little bit out there. It's exploration. We're the pioneers of our own life, so to speak. And so the whole idea behind variety is helping you experience new things once in a while. Now, if you think about, if you're in a sales role, one of the ways to create long-term sustainability and loyalty with a customer is to actually continue offering them new options, right? That's why innovation is so important to long-term sustainable business development with a client, because you need to constantly be offering them new things. What you sold them this year may not be valuable or as valid to them next year. So we need to provide variety. And let's think about a relationship, right? We need a little variety in the relationship at home. You can't just do the same old dinner and a movie for date night, because that will eventually grow old, right? So we got to do new things. You can't do the same workout every single day for forever, because that will grow old and you'll eventually either stop doing it or stop getting the results that you had been getting. We like to try new foods, right? Some of us are, let's be honest, some of us are steak and potatoes, cheese and mashed potatoes, or whatever your mac and cheese, kind of the basic stuff, right? But a lot of us are also when I want to throw a little goat cheese in on the salad, or I want to try a little something new, right? We might try the eggs over easy instead of scrambled for once. Something, right? Just to have some fun, just to try something a little bit new, some variety, right? So we know this is true. The internet would give us tons of references of all kinds of different things that are out there to help people experience a variety of ideas in whatever their specific niche, passion, idea, work, etc. is, right? So variety is a basic thing. We have to have it. We want to have it. We desire it. It's innate. You don't even think it's different or weird. It just is who you are based on whatever level you're at. A little bit of variety is not a bad thing, right? All right, so let's talk about the next one. This is what we call the fourth need of the body. I call it significance, right? So significance, the whole idea behind significance is I have to feel like I have this innate desire to feel that I matter. I watched a YouTube video one time, a TED Talk given by an EMT out of New York City. And as an EMT in New York City, he has a fair number of calls, in fact, quite a few daily calls to respond to a variety of situations. And one of those happens to be when somebody has maybe suffered a heart attack or for whatever reason is at the end of their life. And so literally hundreds of times in his career as an EMT, he has been there to hold somebody's hand as they cross over. And he says in his video, it struck me so hard, like to the core one day. He said the most common question that I get asked, that I hear from people as they're passing away is, did I matter? And I almost can't say it without even getting choked up. I'm just me talking to you right now through this video that I'm making in my studio. And the reality is, we all are faced with that question. We want to know a positive outcome. Did my work matter? Did I matter to my kids? Did I matter to my spouse? Did I matter? That's what we all want to know at the end. So that's why you feel good while you're living about the recognition that you get, the positive feedback, sometimes even the constructive criticism that people give you to help you get better, the rewards, the trophies, the money, all the things that come with feeling significant, the promotions, right? The recognition, the proverbial gold watch at the 25-year anniversary, whatever it is, right? But getting those levels of recognition, feeling significant, knowing that your work, your relationships, your hobbies, your passions, knowing that they matter. It gives you significance. Very, very important component. So these four are what we call needs of the body. So one of the reasons this is significance, the reason we feel significant is we can literally feel it in our body when the brain senses that you are important because you've been recognized or you know you've done something good. It will literally produce the chemical serotonin throughout your body. And what happens is the body senses that it's producing serotonin. The brain picks up on that and says, ooh, I feel important. I feel good. I know that I matter, right? So the way that we can guarantee that we can answer that question at the end of life, did I matter? Is by producing lots and lots of importance in our life, by producing great value out into the community. And sometimes, friends, let's be honest, we don't always get the recognition that we deserve from other people. I get that. And I know that hurts sometimes, but just know that if you're out there producing this, you can give yourself a score. How much do you know that you're out intuitively doing the things that matter, even if nobody else notices? Take a moment to ponder that while we move on to the next one. These are what we call needs of the spirit. So the first one of those is contribution. Contribution. So contribution is really about the concept of giving back or giving to something bigger than you. That's really it. At the end of the day, we want to know that we're contributing to something bigger than us. We have this tribal nature about us, this knowingness that we come from somewhere else, or that we belong to something bigger than us, right? And this is why we feel a sense of pride when we hear the national anthem and we put our hand on our heart and we stand up and look at the flag during the national anthem, or when the flags go down the street during a parade, right? Or you hear America the Beautiful and you can't help but feel this sense of pride welling up inside of you. Or pick the national anthem from whatever country it is that you belong to, if you're watching this from somewhere else other than America in the world. We want to know that we're contributing, back to something else. And I can remember back to a time when I was between 18 and 23, I had this idea that I would get a degree and then go on to the military and serve in the military. And this was in post 9/11 era, around 2004. I had literally signed my name to the paper, was ready to go into the United States Air Force, and just felt this deep sense of pride, this deep sense of connection that I was going to go contribute to something bigger than me. Right? Felt that was how I could serve at that point in my life. As the story goes on, I ended up getting disqualified from military. I literally got a letter that says you were permanently disqualified from military service because I'd had heart surgery when I was 19 years old. They found out about that, and you're not allowed to go, apparently, if they've done work to your heart. So it did not do anything for my significance. I felt rather small, actually, at the time, but I had done my best to try and contribute to something bigger than me. And there's lots of ways you can do that. Sometimes it's just contributing within your family. One of the things we have our kids do is they have their certain things that they contribute to the greater good around the house. They each have one half of the dishwasher to take care of. My two older girls, they help clean up the table after we get done having supper together as a family, right? They help in cleaning up the house to get things ready. They are contributing to our family. I can go out into my community and I can give of my time. I can go mow somebody's lawn. I will always feel good when I do things like that. So contribution is a must when I think about feeling good about myself. By the way, as a subset of that, it's also a disruptor. So if you're having a cruddy day, you're just not feeling on, you're not feeling good, maybe you're having just kind of a blah or meh sort of a day, what you can do is literally go help somebody. If nothing else, hold a door, right? Hold the door open for somebody. Go talk to an old friend, go volunteer at a nursing home. Do something to give of your time in a way that lifts somebody else up. Even if it's tiny and minute and you think nobody will ever notice, you notice, particularly subconsciously. And what that will do is it will disrupt your cycle, the negative cycle, and help you to feel better. You'll experience that awakening that we talk so much about. You start to feel better, and it is literally by law, by rule, it is impossible to feel grumpy meh and in appreciation, which is what you feel when you contribute at the same time. One will always conquer the other. So let's move on to the last one. It boils down to the word growth. Okay. Einstein's theory suggested that the universe is constantly in expansion. I don't think anybody has come up with anything super irrefutable to deny that at this point. And basically what we know, because the universe is constantly expanding, and you and me, we're made up at an atomical level, right? At the atom level, we're made up of the same carbon, stardust, atoms as the rest of the universe. Okay? When life ceases to exist in your body, some part of you goes on, but this part of you stays here, and that basically shows that you're just dust, right? We're made up of the same. It says so in the Bible, right? And so we literally will return back to that universe. But while we're in this living life force with energy contained inside of us, we get to expand. Just like the universe is constantly expanding, you too need to constantly be expanding. I can prove that this is true because there's two ways that humans grow. They either grow on purpose or they grow on accident, right? And so you know that in some cases, let's just look around, there's a lot of people that are growing physically, Okay, but they may not be in control of that. They may not. Sometimes some of us have been growing in a way that we don't want to grow. Okay, been there, right? Been there. Been 40 pounds overweight, not healthy, not able to run a mile. At the same time, I can take control of that growth and I can determine the direction of it. So the growth is constantly happening. It can't be stopped. The cool thing about being human is that you can use this to determine which way you'd like to grow. Okay? So let's review the 6 basic needs really quick. Connection, right? I want to feel that I'm connected, trust, love, oxytocin coursing through my veins. This is what makes me feel warm and fuzzy in knowing that I belong to something, that I'm part of a group. Certainty. I want to know that my basic human needs are met. My food, water, shelter, job, money. Okay, those kind of things, but also that I'm maybe in a workplace or in a place in my life where I'm not being bullied, where I'm safe, where I've got good, solid relationships, things are sound. And when this starts to get robbed, we start to get scared. So it's important to do what we can to try and keep this in check. Okay, the third one is variety, right? I want to try new things. Let's do, you know what? Let's go from blue. Let's try orange for a little bit. Let's do something new, a little bit something different, right? Okay, significance. I want to feel important. You'll see guys that literally when they start to feel important, we start to, strut around a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll see guys do it too, and other people are posting about it in social media or sharing it with their friends or gossiping about it, or, they're looking for somebody that they've got that one good friend they always share that with, or maybe I'm tweeting or calling or texting mom to let her know, like, hey, I did something, I feel good about it, right? Significance. Contribution, right? I want to know that I'm contributing to something bigger than me. Right? I want to know that I belong and that I'm contributing, that I'm doing good. I want to know at the end of my days that what I did mattered. And finally, growth, right? Growth. I want to know that I can expand, I can grow, right? And there's a lot of different ways that we can do this, but taking control and being purposeful about growth are imperative, right? So the growing is going to happen. The question is it going to grow the way you want it to? Read books, listen to podcasts, watch videos like this, go through personal development, invest time, meditate, eat well, exercise, study, talk to friends, socialize, get around other people, get around people who are better than you are at what you do, at your chosen craft or your passion or your hobby, and learn and know that by associating with people better than you, you too will also level up and grow to be more like them. And that, my friends, is the 6 basic human needs. So here's your assignment. Give yourself a little score on a scale from 1 to 10 on each one of these. Generally speaking, where are you at in life right now? Don't judge yourself. Nobody's watching. Okay? Where are you? Is it a 3? Is it a 5? Is it a 7? What would the average be if you added up all 6 and divided by 6? What would your average be? Okay? Give yourself a score. Do that now. Looking forward to hearing what some of your results are. And if you're sharing this with another group who happens to be using this video, share with your group, share the results, and share your plan. Like, what would it look like if you're a 5 today, a 7 today, a 3 today? What would it look to go up by 2? Right? What would it look like, smell like, and feel like if you were 2 points higher? Could you turn a 5 to a 7 to a 9, a 9 into a 10, and then transcend to an even better level than you ever thought was possible for you? And that's why we talk about the 6 basic human needs, because you deserve to be a 10 in each and every one, and transcending to infinite levels of more greatness for yourself. Everything else is just surviving, my friends. It's your time to thrive today. Let's go get it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Survivor's Guide to Thriving podcast. You can find the show notes and links to all the resources mentioned in this episode by heading over to markjewelltraining.com/podcast. And if you feel so inclined, we'd love it if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. That's what helps us move up in the charts so that more people can find us and start their surviving to thriving journey. See you next week.